Sola Scriptura, everyone. This is His Word Only. Alright, it's time to open up the box. Today we're going to be going over the system and what it portails and what the parts of it are. And we're going to start with Ephesians 6:12. These guys are the head of the snake here, right? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. People don't seem to really pay attention to that last part there. In high places. So these principalities are really the ones running the show. It's not the Illuminati. It's not the Freemasons. They get their marching orders from the principalities. You see why I don't really pay too much attention to even though it's good to shine a light on them, and I do, but it's better to cut the head off the snake, right? The heads are the principalities. They're gods that they serve, right? It's a trickle down effect. It's where it all starts with Satan and the principalities. Then, of course, you get your elites, your Rockefellers, you know, Ford. Kind of weird how Ford engines ended up in Nazi Panzer tanks, but but it just shows you the reach these people have, right? I mean, this guy don't mean to say anything bad, but the guy just looks evil. I mean, look at that, man. The guy just looks rough, looks evil. Don't know what else to say about that. But anyways, I want to get into the Patriot Act here because this is what sets up the modern day system, right? Or should I say surveillance system? Because surveillance is the biggest part of like the mark of the beast in the system, right? Without surveillance, they can't keep track of you because they're not omnipresent like God is, right? They're not. So, the Patriot Act and the electronic communications. Electronic communications aren't nearly as private as they were pre-Patriot Act. We all know this. When former government contractor Edward Snowden leaked a trove of top-secret spy agency documents, many of us learned for the first time that the government is snooping into our electronic communications. The U.S. government engaged in this covert activity under the aegis of post-9/11 law called the Patriot Act. This article discusses the Patriot Act as it pertains to the government surveillance of email, social media, and other electronic data. How the Patriot Act works. Congress passed the Patriot Act within the month after the 9/11 attacks in New York, Washington, D.C., and in Pennsylvania. The Act's stated purpose is to enhance the ability of federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies to identify, investigate, and prevent terrorism. Among its many provisions, the Act provides for surveillance and searches by U.S. intelligence agencies, ostensibly to prevent terrorist activity. One of the Patriot Act's most controversial provisions is the broad scope of government surveillance of U.S. citizens allowed under it, and the ease with which intelligence agencies may conduct that surveillance. Seizing data. Although the U.S. law previously allowed intelligence agencies to conduct searches of data, the Patriot Act greatly expanded the type of personal information the government could search and made it easier for the government to gain access to personal data. Broader scope. The Act enlarged the definition of the information it could search to include any tangible thing relevant to an investigation to prevent terrorism or spying. 50 USC, whatever that is, 1861. Any tangible thing includes electronic data according to the Act. Easier to seize. The Act lowered the burden the government must meet to justify seeking the personal data of the individual. Prior to passage of the Act, the government had to show that the data sought was relevant to an investigation of a person thought to be an agent of a foreign power. In other words, a spy. The Patriot Act eliminates this particularized justification and allows the government to obtain data by simply showing that the data is relevant to an authorized investigation. So they can just look at your information and say, hey, we're just investigating. We're just investigating. That's it. They can look at you. Well, I accidentally said the P word, something you're not supposed to say on that involves coitus. Okay, just say that. So they can't look at your coitus searches. So, anyways, I don't want this to be shadow banned like my other videos. But, anyways, I digress. Essentially, the government says to FISA court, we need to see this data because we are doing an authorized investigation. After Snowden leaked the secret surveillance documents to news outlets, government officials stated that the widespread data monitoring involved only metadata, which they described as the email addresses, telephone numbers, dates, variations of communications. These officials said that the government was not monitoring the content of the communications in the blanket surveillance. But, yep, so there's the Patriot Act, and none of these websites here, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, wouldn't exist without the Patriot Act. Think about that one. Because there would be no way these would be free. You would have to pay for it. Oops, sorry about the abrupt cuts there, guys. Apologies. I had to itch. So, sorry. I'm sure you guys didn't want to see that. Anyways, so yeah, these websites, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and all that would not exist freely without the Patriot Act. And then we got, of course, mainstream media. This is the apparatus. They keep you basically from learning the truth, right? It's their truth, what they want you to see. They're gatekeepers, right? Same thing the Israelites were doing with their people, gatekeeping, right? Controlling the information through the Talmud and the oral Torah, right? This is what the elite do to keep you under control so you don't become an elite, right? And then here we go, we got the big six. You have Comcast, Walt Disney, which owns part of Fox now, the movie part of it, which you can already see it's infecting the whole company. AT&T, Paramount, both, all of them are all garbage anyways, by the way. Paramount Global, Sony, and Fox. All these guys owned about 90% of the US media. 6 companies. That means newspapers, magazines, TV, all of it. Think about that one. That's a monopoly there almost, somewhat. Maybe not a monopoly, but pretty darn close. There's a lot of TV channels out there, but I guess it's not one company though, so I guess it can't be in a monopoly, but still. Anyways, of course, you guys know about BlackRock. You've heard it in the news. Started in like 1988, I believe. It's is an American multinational investment management corporation based on New York City, founded in 1988. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because they support. This is how they support both sides here, right? Anyways, initially as a risk management and fixed income institutional asset manager. So they put assets. They don't own these companies, right? But they provide the money to them. So I'll let you put the ties together on that one, whether they own it or not. Of course, on paper they don't own it, but anyways, BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager with US 10 trillion in assets under management as of January 2022. BlackRock operates globally with 70 offices in 30 countries and clients in 100 countries. And I bet you some of it's in Russia. Just saying. BlackRock has sought to position itself as an industry leader in environmental, social, and corporate governance. The company has faced criticism for worsening climate change, its close ties with the Federal Reserve System during COVID-19 pandemic, anti-competitive behavior, and its unprecedented investments in China. Hmm. Playing both sides, sounds like here. And by the way, I'm going to give you guys a little nugget of truth here. Do you know where the word carbon footprint came from? I bet you're not going to guess it unless you already know it. Well, it didn't come from a hippie scientist, I'll tell you that. It came from BP, British Petroleum. What does that tell you about climate change? Another thing, I want you to look at your recycling insignia, right? The insignia on the recycling bin. Then check out your plastic insignia and tell me, why do they look the same? And then I want to ask yourself, how much plastic can be recycled? Well, you can't, or at least 90 to 95% of plastic can't be recycled. And what they do is they ship it off to Malaysia. And so you don't feel guilty. They charge you to recycle. This is how they do things. They control things. Fear mongering, right? The world is going to be underwater, right? And I was listening to this YouTube short, this old guy. He says, don't follow it. Don't fall for the nonsense. He says, back in the day, in the 70s, there was going to be a new ice age, right? The world was going to be under ice. That never happened. You know, back in the 80s, acid rain was going to destroy all the crops and blah, 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 blah. That never happened. 90s was what? The great glaciers are going to, melt and all that, right? And then the 2000s, the West and East Coast are going to be underwater. That never happened. And you know what he said after that? He says, but taxes sure in the heck went up after each time. And another thing about climate change, it sure in the heck gave the companies the ability to have cheap labor. Because all the companies that were being taxed to death moved to China. So this climate change is all corporatism. And we're being lied to. You bet to see here. There's some facts for you, some climate facts. These are scientists, actual scientists who literally say, hey, climate change is bunk. The science isn't there. It's not real science. You can look this up yourself. There's scientists, but you don't hear about them because they get their jobs taken away from them, right? But anyways, here we go. 2 Corinthians 4:4. In whom the God of this world, or well, world, world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. So this is why they blind you, right? They bring on the mainstream media. They distract you with nice little trinkets, nice new iPhone. They distract you with nice girls over here. Look at these pretty girls, right? With magazine. Well, they don't do magazines anymore. Videos now, with videos and you know, and it gets you. It's the same tactic that Balaam used, right? Get them to break the commandments so God judges them, right? It's the same tactic the elite used to us. This is how they bring down nations, right? Godly nations. This is how they brought down Israel. But anyways, and how they do it is they keep you blinded, right? They keep you with nice little milkshake truths and oh, doesn't it feel good? God just loves you, even though you're a child lover or doing whatever. God still loves you in your sin. You know what I mean? Those prophets that tickled the ears of the Israelites, but then when a real prophet came through, they killed them and chopped their bodies up, you know? Anyways, I digress. And one last thing. And with these type of people that are under the control of the world, right? What happens when you bring truth to them? Nothing. They're just stuck in their own ways, right? You can bring them truth, show them evidence, and just nothing. Nothing gets to them, right? It's because they have stronghold after stronghold after stronghold after stronghold. They had these prophets tickling their ears, right? So they're blinded. They can call themselves Israelites or the people of God, right? But they're blinded because they believe not in the truth, right? And you can call yourself a Christian all you want, but you have to worship God in truth, right? Anyways, sorry. 1 John 2:16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. Well, this takes away a lot of pastors, doesn't it? A lot of priests, a lot of Catholic priests, a lot of Jewish rabbis, you know? It's not of the Father. This is how you know somebody's of the world, right? When they're ruled by these things and they're blinded, right? Blinded, like here, right? Hath blinded the minds of them which believe not with the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life. Or let's say, hey, let's say the moon landing, right? Was the moon landing real or not? You show people truth, about stuff like that, or whether it's the moon landing, whether whatever it is. You know what I mean? But they just want that to be real because they want to go to the moon and they want to experience that. And this is what they experienced since they were little and stuff like that. And that's how Satan gets you. He wants you to hold on to that stuff, right? That the stuff that you were invested in, or let's say you were making money off of, let's say, let's just say this, like Sasquatch. Even though there's proof, he's been proven. I'm just using this as an example. Say Sasquatch is proven to be real, or wasn't real. Let's say it wasn't real, and it just proven that it was just nonsense, right? But you have these people who are so invested in it, they're making their money off of it, right? And they'll just stick to it, even though it's been proven wrong. Now, it hasn't, and there has been people who have gotten DNA, and there's Anubis, by the way, which is a dog man, and then you got other Indian, right? You have Native American stories about it. It's it's real. Okay, this stuff has been happening. I'm just using that as an example. But anyways, I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say there. I just wanted to. I didn't want to use the typical, you know, other way, like some other truth or whatever. I wanted to use it, put it on the other shoe, I guess per se. You know. Anyways, Matthew 16:26. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Okay, sorry. Anyways, so First Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. These guys, right? The celebrities. And you have here, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. This is supposed to be right here. Matthew 4:8-10. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceedingly high mountain, and sheweth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things I will give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Now, Jesus didn't sit here and go, you don't have the power to do that, Satan. Get out of here. No, this is what he said. Then saith Jesus unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Right? It says in the Bible that Satan is the God of this world, right? That people look towards and stuff, right? Here he is offering Jesus this stuff. Now, what makes you think he stopped there, right? This is why we have these guys, right? The stars doing all this stuff, right? The Illuminati symbols and all that stuff. The one eye. They probably took that deal, and it never is good for them. All right, Second Peter 1. And the reason why I'm bringing these guys up is that these guys are the ones that, let's say, provide, are the somewhat of the gatekeepers, but also are the ones who push the system, right? Who push it onto the kids, the minds, right? Who are the propagandists. They're the modern day propagandists, actor propagandists. Okay. Second Peter 1:4, whereby are given unto us exceedingly great and precious promises, that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. There it is, guys. This is the main thing we need to fight, especially us males. Okay? Especially us males. Women too. Trust me. I've been in, okay, a room with women, all right? You cannot tell me you guys aren't as, uppity as the males, okay? Okay? I I know. I know. But anyways, I've heard some things from you guys. Anyways, um, sorry, but the lust, right? Lusting after stuff, right? Money, whether it's money, women, yourself. This is what gets us into trouble. Drugs, right? We're going to get into that here in a little bit. This will you into trouble. This is what leads us into blindness, to being blind, right? Is lust, wanting that feeling, right? And really, modern day church is about the same thing what social media does. It's the dopamine loop. That's what they want. They want to get you addicted to that dopamine loop, right? Instead of giving you or getting you addicted to the truth and hearing the truth, right? But the truth isn't going to make you feel good all the time, right? And a lot of people don't want to be told that they're sinners, right? Or that they're nasty people. They just want to be told, oh, Jesus loves me, you know, make me feel good, give me that dopamine. That's what it's based off of. That's why you'll see the pastor gets all riled up, gets you all emotional. Yeah, but it does nothing for you. Afterwards, you go there and it's like, man, church was good. I had a good feeling, but man, where the good feeling's gone. So I got to go next week. I got to get that good feeling again, get my good feeling for the week, you know, instead of just learning the truth. Sometimes the truth don't feel good. Sometimes the truth shows you who you really are, right? But that lust will keep you from that truth. So all of us, have to get rid of that lust, whether it's for women or for money. Anyways, Isaiah 14:3-6. Now, part of the world system is to enslave you, right? They blind you, get you worried about other things, get you away from God and the truth, and then they enslave you. Here it is, Isaiah 14:3-6. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from thy hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. This is about the beast here, guys, or Lucifer. I believe Lucifer is the beast. If you I have a video on that. If you guys want to check that out, I'll put it in the time card. But anyways, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked. Or I'm sorry, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked. Now, if you see this, oppressive and city are always in the same together, seems like. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger. Shiva is called the angry god, by the way. Something to think about. Anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. See? They get you blinded. They get you into these trances, right? With the celebrities. They get you following these celebrities and following their every word. And it's crazy how people will follow these words of these celebrities over the words of actual scientists, and actual science. It's crazy how that works, man. They got us blinded, almost all of America. And it's sad, really. It really is sad that a Democrat or a leftist will come out and hurt a Republican, all because of he's a Republican. And then you got Republicans sitting here talking bad about Democrats, all because he's a Democrat. You know, this is what they do. Not only do they get us, with lust, wanting these things and wanting more and more and more and more, right? More of it. They also, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Oops. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I lost my train of thought, but now I gathered it again. Thank goodness. Anyways, so what they do is not only just enslave us and get us lusting over these useless fake things, right? They put us in groups. So that way they control what we think, how we act, what we wear, you know, what to eat, and all this stuff, right? You know, a person of color's got to wear baggy pants. This is white boy clothes, and this is Dominican clothes, and stuff like that. Or Republicans wear this, and Democrats wear that. Or heavy metal, these guys wear that, and blah 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 blah. And it's what they do. They put you in groups. This guy's a heavy rocker, so you gotta be a heavy rocker. If you listen to rap, I'm sorry, go with the rap guys, right? Now today it's starting to get a little bit better. People are starting to move out of this stuff, but still, you know, this is what they do. They put you in groups, right? Denominations. And a lot of times you join these groups, you end up having to vote for things you don't necessarily agree on, right? Or voting for people who aren't the best of people, right? Even though they're Republican or Democrat, you know? But anyways, we went a little too far on that. This video is probably going to be longer than I wanted to, but apologies. Okay, Revelation 17:13. So, after all that, right, they enslave you, lust, all that, they want you to be like one mind. This is why they get you into group thinking, right? And they want you to be like them, their ways, right? Just like the SJWs. This is the precursor to that, right? They want you to be this all encompassing community, the one world order, basically, right? And again, it's the way they get you into their group to control you. Now, there's multiple groups, but there's going to come a time and day where those multiple groups come into one, right? They're all going to be worshiping the same person. But anyways, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Ready? Here we go. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Do you see this? They will have one mind. In reality, what they want is a hive mind mentality from you. They want you to be part of the hive mind. They don't want you to think individually, right? See, there's a difference between the one body in Christ, right? See, there's one body, but there's different fingers, there's a thumb, there's fingernails, there's eyeballs, there's eyelashes, hair, different things to it, right? But when you have one mind, it's all the same thing, right? They want you to be the same person. You're me and I'm you. Your truth is my truth. Blah 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 blah. It's like no, it ain't. I know a lot of people who've been dead wrong. I very much have been dead wrong that I thought was the truth. So this whole my truth is your truth is crap, is what it is. But this is what they do. They get you into that one mind, right? So if you think outside of that, off with your head, right? Revelation 18:23. And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. So this sorceries here is the word pharmakia. Let's see what this means. The use of or the administering of drugs. Huh. Poisoning. Sorcery, magical arts often found a connection with idolatry and fostered by it. Matif, the deceptions and seductions of idolatry. So there's a lot of lusting and idolatry and drug use, poisoning, right? Because they were let's see here. This one, I think. In whom the God of this world had blinded the minds of them that which believe not. So, pharmakia, for by the for by thy pharmakia were all nations deceived. So it all encompasses drugs, sorcery, magic. It all encompasses that, right? Because remember, these guys, especially Madonna, she talks about using Kabbalah, right? I mean, you have all these people here, priestesses, witches, that are celebrities. Jay-Z right here is a Freemason. So, you do with that what you will. But yeah, so this is how they get you deceived by doing drugs and keeping up with the party life, right? You see this in a lot in pagan cultures, everywhere. I'm going to show you, in my opinion, this is my opinion, where all this stuff comes from. At least the dancing part of paganism, right? The dancing. The two most common forms of Shiva's dance are the lasya, the gentle form of dance, the slow dancing, associated with the creation of the world, and the Ananda Tandava dance of bliss, the vigorous form of dance, which is the dance of destruction, really, associated with the destruction of weary worldviews, weary perspectives and lifestyles. Basically, the destruction of the first age. But, anyways, in my opinion, I think this is where the dancing comes from because Lucifer is a dancer, in my humble opinion. I think Shiva is Lucifer. If you put, if you watch the video, it's very convincing, and I didn't believe it at first. You know, when the Lord was trying to press it on me, and I was like, might be looking too much into it. But then when you really read into it, it's like, whoa, Lucifer and him have very much in common. But anyways, okay, here we go. Another Isaiah 14:21. So remember I was talking about the cities? This is what they do, and they get you cramped up in these little cities, right? And then they tell you, oh, we're overpopulated. We got to do this, this, and this, and tax you more, you know? But in reality, humans only use 25% of the world, of the land. We only use 4% in the United States. But anyways, I digress. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. This is the Assyrian and his children, basically. That they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. And this is the same guy, early on. Where is it? Is it this one? No, this one, this one, this one. Yep, okay. See, thou shalt take a proverb against the king of Babylon, and hath oppressor sees, slaves, right? That's what he used to bring in slaves. Okay. But yeah, cities are a big thing for the kingdom of darkness, right? God doesn't seem to like, crushed in cities too much, where we're all crushed in like sardines. We're meant to be spread out, have our own piece of land kind of thing. All right, Revelation 13:4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Right? Now entails worship, right? We worship the world and its system, right? And the beast. And one thing that Rob Skiba said that really stuck with me, man, was why does the world follow after the beast? Well, because we already are. Following his holidays, his special days, um, his ways, right? His lustful ways, his dancing, his pharmakia, all that stuff, right? We're already doing it. We're celebrating Christmas and Easter and stuff like that rather than celebrating Passover. But anyways, 1 Corinthians 6, 9 through 11. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, right? Be not blinded. Be not lustful, right? Be not deceived. Neither fornicators, cheaters, right? Fornication is basically cheating. Nor idolaters, no, nor adulterers, nor effeminate. That means guys who are effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. I gotta be honest, I have no idea. My guess is the people that flog themselves and stuff like that is what I'm guessing that is. But anyways, nor thieves. Thieves, big time, used to be one. Nor covetous, nor drunkards, right here, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. And this means here, these drunkards means you're drinking every day and you're drinking to pass out drunk, right? That's what that means. God tells us to be sober. Doesn't mean you can't have a drink every now and then. That's fine. But moderation. But here we go. But ye are washed, but ye are sanctified, but ye are justified in the name of Lord Jesus, and by the Spirit of our God. Amen to that. We don't mess with this worldly stuff, right? And here we go. I want to read this whole chapter here because this is awesome here. I'm sorry if this is longer you know, than I wanted it to be, but oh well. John chapter 15. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Uh-oh. So that means you can't sit up in a pew and just listen to a pastor? Hmm. Let's read that again. For every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it and bring forth and it or that it may bring forth more fruit. It's the Peter, right? What he says that he purifies us with gold, right? To bring us to where we need to be. It's the same thing here, right? Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. So it means preaching the truth of Jesus Christ. Not just preaching a Jesus Christ, what you want Jesus Christ to be. No, preaching the truth about Jesus Christ and his words, what he said, not what you think he said, just what he said, right? I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. Ain't that the truth? If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered. And men gather them, and cast them into the fire, and they burn. If ye abide in me, and my words, see that? So it's not just about Jesus abiding in you, right? If ye abide in me, or you abiding in him, right? You believing in Jesus, not just that, ready? And my words abide in you, his doctrine, right? Ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Let's read this again. Ye abide in me, and my words abide in you. It's a two-way street. It means you got to know God, but God's also got to know you, right? Anyways, herein, okay, if ye abide in me, okay, herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. So shall ye be my disciples. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love. Oh wow, is that? Oh wow, it's the New Testament. This is John. Wow. Okay. Even as I kept my Father's commandments, and I abide in his love. These things I have spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another, as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servants knoweth not what the Lord doeth. This is about knowing, having his words right in you. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known to you. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye shall go and bring forth fruit. There's this fruit again, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. If you're bringing forth fruit and have his words in you, right? These things I command you, that ye love one another. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. This is something we need to understand. If you're going to be preaching the truth, the world's going to hate you. You're not going to get 100,000 or a million subscribers on YouTube. Now you may, God may do that for you, but most likely, you know, what does it say that narrow, straight is the way, and narrow and few, or narrows the road, and few people find it. So don't expect to get a bunch of people to be following you, right? It's only going to be the ones that have ears to hear and eyes to see. Okay, love is on, but because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. Remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hateth me hateth my Father also. if I had not done among them the works which no other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. There's the kicker. But this cometh to pass, and the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law. They hated me without a cause. But when the Comforter, did you notice this here, though, guys? It says here, but this cometh to pass that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law. It doesn't say God's law, it says their law. And it says they hated me without a cause. Why? Because they weren't following God's law, they were following their laws. But when the Comforter is come, when I will send you um, unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me. And ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. And that pretty much sums up the remnant right there. If you aren't getting pushback, you're still part of the system. Let's just be honest here. When you, one thing I'm noticing, man, on this channel, once I start blowing up, I start getting a lot of subscribers, they shut me down. You know, just the way it is. And it's preaching the gospel, bringing the truth to the world. It's an uphill battle, man. You're going to be battling every which way. You're going to be clawing and, you know, and it's going to be rough, man. Satan's going to hit you with everything he's got. When I first started doing this, he hit my mom and my dad, right? Almost took me out right then, you know. But was it me standing on the faith of God? Who knows where I would be right now, man? Probably in a dump somewhere. God knows what, doing God knows what. You know, we have to stand on the word of God in the kingdom. We got to live in God's kingdom, not the world's kingdom, not the world's system, but God's system, His commandments, His ways, right? Because if we don't, we're just another slave of the world, just another prima donna, you know, going out, partying, doing drugs, doing nothing for the world while our communities crumble and being part of that crumbling, you know, we need to start putting on the armor of God and start standing for the kingdom and bringing the truth to the world. There's only the remnant that's going to do that. And people who are listening to this, you know, it's time to find what your gift is and go out there and preach the gospel, bring the truth to the world. But before you do that, get a download from Jesus, right? Learn from Jesus Christ. And like I said, when you know God is real and you know that only comes from experience, that's when you're ready to go out to preach the gospel. And you have the truth. And you have his ways and you're following his commandments. You know, and whatever you ask, he will provide. But anyways, I hope you guys were edified. And I hope that ended on a good note there. You guys have a good night.